Hi, thank you. My name is Nicholas Silva. This is Rehydrating Your Parched Codebase. I'm sure all of you have been in a situation where you've been assigned to a new code base. You don't have any experience about it. The guy who wrote it has been long gone. And you might say something like this: how does this even run? Who owns this again? And no matter what I do, your new code isn't being executed. You need to fix a bug, build a new feature, but you don't know what to do. So my plan is 5 steps, and I've framed it in the context of water. We're all in we're theoretically in a drought here, so I thought that this would be relevant. And I would recommend that you estimate these steps separately so that you actually know what the true cost of rehydrating your code base would be. The first step is assessment. That's getting control of the status of the code base, establish a baseline measurement. If you're running on something like Heroku, you can easily add New Relic or Librato. And look for documentation and things that you might not expect, like a makefile. I actually worked in a JavaScript project that actually had a makefile instead of a grunt file. It was kind of weird, but it was actually really helpful. This is a nice graph from Librato that shows the average request time. It gives me a baseline of where I'm going to change my project. Next step is shoring, and this is actually building safeguards around your project so that you know when something breaks. This is a lot of adding tests and adding things like linting and git hooks around an existing project so that you don't wind up introducing a mistake or changing something unexpectedly. Sometimes you'll run into something like a latent error, like it's a feature, not a bug. If someone ever says that to you, then you know that you've got a latent error, that you might actually want to write a test for that. Just even though it is in fact a bug, write a test for the expected behavior. You're going to spend most of your time in shoring. But then you get to the fun part, which is adding water back into your code base. This is getting yourself to a state where you can deploy your code again. So I've actually been on 2 different projects where I couldn't deploy the code. No one knew how to deploy it. You actually had to clone the existing production server to get it to work again. So it was really vitally important to be able to get that code out into a repeatable process. So once you can do that, once you can do it again, you want to actually migrate to use that deployment process going forward. After you've done that, then you have to deal with wastewater management. And in terms of a code base, this is the technical debt that's been built up over the years. You want to look for code that can be deleted, look for dependencies that can be upgraded. We actually set up a dependency tracking system that would just basically run NPM, I think it's NPM versions, and for Ruby bundle outdated on a regular basis so that we knew when there were patches. For JavaScript, we like to use Esprima and Helium for CSS to look for code that can be deleted, and look for to-dos that you might be able to address. One of my favorites is to-do WTF. You know that you probably want to take care of that one. Finally, you want to build a sustainable project going forward. And this basically means making sure that you have people touching the code on a regular basis. So I mentioned the automated system for dependency upgrades before. This would be a good time to add more tests, which can be kind of a theme of the night, I think. We also try to open source things just to be able to get more people looking at it, submitting pull requests, and maybe submitting patches of their own, and document all the things that you've experienced in the process of rehydration, just so that the next time someone doesn't actually have to do it again. So to recap, assessment, determining what the state of it is, shoring, building safeguards in case something goes wrong, watering, actually getting your code out there again with a fresh copy, wastewater management, tech debt, and then sustainability for the future. Thank you.